Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering, to those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard, bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
So if I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
In Bo we trust. Bo is the future. I just want to go back to August 19th when I've made it perfectly clear. When I make the Fantasy Football Championship and the Broncos make the playoffs because of the success of Bo Nix. The bar is low. Give me Bo. That's a good one. The bar is low. Give me Bo.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking here from the Built Ford Tough studio. We're in FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you listened to Big Bet Bennett yesterday during GP's carryout when he told you take the Indiana Fever on the road in Atlanta. He laid 1.5. He got the win. He got the cover. And Caitlin Clark set another attendance record at State Farm Arena. She also tied a WNBA record. Big night for the rookie sensation. We'll talk about it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you in about 20 minutes. Next segment, Chris Vernon going to join me. He's the host of the Chris Vernon Show, weekdays noon, Grind City Media. I'll bring him in here and see how excited he is about CeeDee Lamb getting a new contract extension. That thing's all done. Cowboys still got one more contract at least to figure out. Vernon will be here in about 20 minutes. Finish talking to him. I'll take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we'll discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, the Memphis Sports Hall of Fame class of 2024 has been announced. I'll tell you who made it in about 40 minutes. Interesting story at ESPN.com about Ohio State and the football team that university is taking into this season. It is being described as maybe the most talented college football team of all time. I'll tell you more about it a little later on in the show. The man accused of shooting and wounding 4 people at Railgarten earlier this month has reportedly been released from jail without paying any bond. That seems insane.
A little bit.
Seems crazy. Tell you more about that in the third segment. Travis and Jason Kelce have sold their podcast for $100 million. Good for them. I'll give you the more details on it in just a bit. And rest in peace, Sid Vicious, the 6-time wrestling world champion from right here, West Memphis, Arkansas. He died yesterday at the age of 63. I'll pay my respects to the man who once came to my home.
What?
Believe it or not.
Stop.
I'll tell you that story during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carryout. We'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to. But I did want to start with Caitlin Clark because, as we discussed yesterday, she was scheduled to play last night in Atlanta before a sellout crowd inside State Farm Arena, with the least expensive tickets reportedly going for around $300. Insanity. Like I told you previously, she really is, like at this point, the biggest draw in basketball. Bigger than LeBron, bigger than Steph, bigger than KD, bigger than the NBA champion Boston Celtics, bigger than the WNBA champion Las Vegas Aces. She, earlier this season, played in Atlanta for the first time. And the Dream that game had a record crowd of 17,575. Last night, that record fell with a crowd of 17,608. And she now has set attendance records in Atlanta, Minneapolis, Las Vegas, obviously Indianapolis. At Iowa, in her final year of college basketball, every game she played on the road set an attendance record for that building except for 2. So she sets another attendance record last night. And again, I can't emphasize this enough. I know other people can fill up that building and basketball arenas, but nobody's ever put that many in that building for a WNBA game. And I'm telling you,
that's where the Hawks play too, right?
Yes.
State Farm, yeah.
You $300 just to get in, to sit at the top of State Farm Arena. $300.
Pretty wild.
That's what it was going for. You don't have to pay $300 to go see LeBron from the worst seat at State Farm Arena. $300 to get you, maybe not, on the hardwood, but for a regular season game on a Monday night, probably get you into the lower level. For LeBron, for KD, for Steph, for you name it. But not for Caitlin Clark. It cost you $300, roughly, just to get in the door. I've been in that arena for college basketball games, for concerts. We saw Kendrick Lamar there a few years ago, my wife and I. We were literally on the first row of the risers. Did not pay $300 for that. I don't think it was close to $300
This man
for
got
that.
a discount.
Caitlin Clark, if we wanted to go see her last night, we sitting at the top of State Farm Arena for $300 a piece.
Yeah.
So she is something unlike we've ever seen with women's basketball. We've known that for a while. And then the game started, and she tied a WNBA record when she made her 4th three-pointer of the contest, because that doubled as the 85th made three-pointer for her this season. No rookie has ever made more three-pointers in a season, and considering she still has 10 more regular season games to play, she'll obviously own the record outright soon, probably as soon as tomorrow night when the Fever host the Connecticut Sun in Indianapolis. That game will also be on NBA TV. Oh, by the way, the Fever also won last night. 84-79 was the final score. So they're now 14-16 on the season after starting 0-5. Off to a horrible start, but they're 14-11 in their past 25 games, still 14-16 overall. That equates to 7th in the standings, 2.5 games ahead of Chicago. As you know, Bennett, as a longtime follower of the WNBA,
Yep.
the top 8 teams in the WNBA make the playoffs. There's not an East-West. It's just the standings, and the top 8 make the playoffs. Right now, Caitlin Clark projects to be in the WNBA playoffs. Bennett, I know you had the Fever last night. Congratulations. Did you watch any of it? And if you did, what did you think of the scene? Because it was quite a scene. I turned it on.
I did turn it on, too. I didn't watch a lot of it. I saw our highlights, though, but now I kind of last night bounced around a little bit, a little Raw, a little YouTube. Put a movie on. But I flipped it on for a second.
Yeah,
it bounced around.
It was a scene. The game got tight late, but the Fever ultimately are able to hold on and win. And now it does look like Caitlin Clark is going to be in the WNBA playoffs. The Fever, by the way, the reason they were in a position to draft her number 1 overall is because they stunk last season. They went 13-27 last season. That was a winning percentage of .325. Right now, again, 14-16, winning percentage of .467. She's now averaging 18 points a game, a league best 8.2 assists per game, and 5.8 rebounds per game in 35.3 minutes per contest. She's the reigning WNBA Player of the Week. She is having one of the best rookie seasons in WNBA history and one of the best rookie seasons in basketball history. She's not going to be MVP as a rookie. And because of that, you can't really say she's having the best rookie season of all time. Because Candace Parker, did you know this? I don't think I knew this, or I had forgotten it. She was MVP her rookie year in 2008, which is bananas. Trivia time. In the NBA, it's happened twice.
Okay. I don't know.
Wilt Chamberlain, Wes Unseld.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten either of those.
I wouldn't have either.
I would have come close.
I wouldn't have either. But in the history of the NBA and the WNBA, 3 people have won MVP as a rookie. It's Candace Parker, Wilt Chamberlain, and Wes Unseld. Caitlin Clark is not going to join that group because A'ja Wilson exists, and she is clearly the best women's basketball player in the world and going to be the MVP once again. But Caitlin Clark has gone from big draw and the source of all of the attention, or at least most of the attention this league is getting. She's gone from that to, like, she's legitimately already, as a rookie, one of the best women's basketball players in the world. Yes, there was a learning curve, and I guess there was a wake-up call, but we're past most of that at this point. She, again, is the reigning WNBA Player of the Week. She is the second leading scorer on a playoff team, and only second leading by like 0.2. She was the leading scorer, I believe, this time yesterday. So she'll probably emerge and then finish as the Fever's leading scorer. She's leading the entire league in assists per game and stacking triple doubles, every once in a while. So she's been phenomenal. And I have found myself as somebody who was at first just sort of interested in the Caitlin Clark phenomenon, and then the Angel Reese thing joining it, and she setting rookie records in the league. I was sort of caught up in there's these 2 incredibly popular college figures that elevated that game, and they were somewhat rivals in the sense that they've competed in a Final Four against each other and had the moments with each other.
Yeah.
I do believe the racial component plays a role in all of this. And I was just sort of watching it like, okay, when does Caitlin play again? When does Angel play again? Now I found myself like actually looking at the standings and actually looking at the schedule and actually interested in a possible playoff bracket and what that would look like. Like it has drug me in more so than I assumed I would be drug in. Like I don't have the bandwidth to follow too much stuff other than what I naturally follow, either because it piques my interest or because I know I need to for my jobs. I'm confident I would love college baseball if I had the bandwidth to follow it, but I don't. So I don't. And it's just something that sort of happens outside of my world. The WNBA has, for the most part, forever been that as well. Yeah, I would turn on a game every once in a while, and I knew Maya Moore was great with Minnesota once upon a time. But you could ask me at any point on any day of any season in the history of the WNBA, and I'm not sure I could have told you who's got the best record, who's got the worst record, how even many teams are going to make the playoffs. But now I know. I know who's got the best record. I know how many teams are in the playoffs. I know where the Fever are sitting. I know where the Sky are sitting. And this is a byproduct of both Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese bringing people to the table and then saying, hey, this is kind of fun. And I really do think the big crowds adds to it. It can be difficult for any league to grab hold of a place in the market when people turn your games on, if they can even find them on TV, it looks like nobody cares. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest struggle with every football league we try to have in the city.
Sure.
You bring them here and we say it's professional football. And it's like, you recognize this guy, he used to coach in the NFL. And you recognize this fella, he used to play in the NFL. And it's professional football. You should care. And we go, okay, maybe we will. Maybe we will. And then you go, okay, there's a game this weekend. I don't know that I'll go, but maybe I'll turn it on. And then you turn it on and nobody's there. And it's like, okay, nobody cares. Why should I care? If nobody cares, why should I care? I think that's a real thing in sports. You look at something, and if it looks like nobody cares, you might not care. And if it looks like man, this thing's popping. What's going on here? It might make you go, I want to know what's going on here. Well, for decades, you turn on your average WNBA game, and you know what it looks like?
Empty seats,
Nobody cares. That's what it looks like. It looks like nobody cares. And so how do you tell people, or rather, how do you convince people this is important, this is big time, this should matter, you should care about it, if it looks like nobody does? That's for years. That's been a challenge for the WNBA. They say, we've got a good product. You should watch it. You should enjoy it. And then we'd go, okay, we'll try. And you turn it on, and you're like, well, it doesn't look like anybody cares about your product. So I don't know why I should care about your product. It's a little bit like going and looking at critics' reviews of television shows and movies. It's like somebody says, you should watch this movie. You should watch this movie. And then you go and look at Rotten Tomatoes, and it's like, well, it's got 30% approval, and it looks like it did terrible at the box office. So nobody went to watch it, and the people who do watch it don't seem to like it that much. Why should I invest my time in it? For decades, that's what the WNBA has struggled with. Now you turn on a WNBA game, at least one that's got Caitlin in it, and it looks like a big deal. I know there were other things happening in sports last night, but there weren't too many arenas filled up in this world yesterday. I guess one of them was in Providence for Raw, but one of them was in Atlanta for a WNBA game. She's really changed the whole deal, the way people thought that she might be capable of changing.
Yeah, it is cool to see. I saw, it's funny you brought up Angel. I just saw like a few minutes ago that Angel Reese said she's starting a podcast. Dude, you want to get some eyeballs? Get Caitlin Clark as like your first. Could you imagine them two talking to each other on a podcast? That would be awesome.
Oh, I'm sure.
I want that.
I'm sure they'll
She'll
get there.
her on.
I'm sure
She'll
they'll get there, and it'll be massive. Like I'm into it. It'll be interesting to see whether football pulls away from it.
I mean, it obviously
because like right now, I could reasonably open on Caitlin Clark.
Yes.
I don't know that everybody would, but I could reasonably do it.
Yeah, could you on like Tuesday?
No.
Right? No, I don't think so.
No, because we're coming off of college football week 1.
Right.
We're getting ready for NFL. There's going to be there's only so much, think of it as a television show. There's an A block, and there's a B block, and there's a C block. And for Scott Van Pelt last night, I didn't watch the show, but I'm assuming Caitlin Clark was either in the A block.
Yeah, it was up there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, eventually, Patrick Mahomes is going to be playing football again, and that's going to be the A block. And eventually, we're going to have college football in Georgia and Alabama and Ohio State and Michigan are going to be playing people, and that's going to be A block stuff. And you can get pushed down the totem pole, for lack of a better word. And so how will they be able to overcome that? I'm not real sure. We'll see. But they have taken advantage of this slow spot in the sports calendar and really delivered. It is a compelling product. And people are showing up in ways that are unprecedented. And it's popping on television.
For sure.
Every single time I turn on a game. And that's the other thing. I sought it. I went and looked for it last night. I had other things to do. My kid had baseball practice. Wrestling's on. We got homework. I've got podcasts to prepare for.
Yep.
But we can get this on one of the screens. I want to keep my eyeballs on it. That's what she's done, and I don't think I was the only one doing that last night.
I do think that when the play, like maybe it's hard to get everybody on board, the casual viewer on board for like regular season. I do think once the playoffs start for the WNBA, it's probably going to be the most viewed playoffs they've ever had.
If you got Caitlin Clark in it, it will be.
And if you put the games on the right nights, like that's the other thing too. Like don't go up on a Sunday afternoon against football. That's crazy.
Yeah, but like it is crazy, and I hope they don't do that.
Yeah.
But she's going to have an audience no matter what.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
As long as she's in the playoffs, and right now, so the top 8 make it. Fever's 7, Chicago's 8 right now.
Yeah, and there's not all that many games left. I mean, I think it'd be safe to say they're probably going to get in.
They've got a pretty good cushion.
Yeah.
They would have to fall apart.
Yes.
They would have to fall apart to not get in. So, like, based on current projections, we will have a WNBA playoffs with, Asia Wilson, likely MVP, Las Vegas Aces, looking for another championship. But more than that, we're projecting right now to have playoffs with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. And that's a real game changer.
Yeah, for
If
sure.
you're trying to get the highest rated and most attended WNBA playoffs in history, that's the key. Those two women. And it looks like they're going to be there. Chris Vernon in studio next.
I actually saw these on TikTok before you guys even sent them to me. This is an interesting concept. They're socks that are anti-creasing.
The socks look really comfy.
They do.
But the anti-creasing thing, like, look, why are we still doing this?
So the kids now, they're on the us. If you see them walking, they walk like
My mom's a gym teacher, and she says like kids will like.
I think that's always
Who cares? The Sneak Fest Show live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
GG gonna be just fine, bro. Like he probably, like Josh probably number one, and he's probably number 2 most talented teammates I've ever had.
Just raw talent.
Like,
wow.
bro, like
Just go to the gym, hoop type stuff.
Like you walk in the gym and he might be doing a workout, and you're gonna look over and be like, damn.
The Chris Vernon Show live weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
In Bo we trust. Bo is the future. I just want to go back to August 19th when I've made it perfectly clear. When I make the fantasy football championship and the Broncos make the playoffs because of the success of Bo Nix. The bar is low. Give me Bo. That's a good one. The bar is low. Give me Bo.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. It's Tuesday. This is the second segment. That means Chris Vernon is in studio. Hey, Chris Vernon, how are you? Congratulations on getting your CD Lamb contract done.
Yeah, that was good.
Second highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Do you approve of this deal?
Yes, well deserved. There's only a finite amount of players that you can pay. A ton of money on an NFL roster. And you pay your best players, so hopefully they could pay him. They could pay Micah Parsons, and the ones that you look at any of the good teams, right? They pay out the best players, and so you don't want to let those guys walk.
They didn't pay Tony Pollard.
Ask
Ask Bennett.
Bennett. You gave away a receiver you didn't want to pay.
Ask Bennett.
Ain't never been the same since, Bennett.
Ask Bennett.
Oh, we are so back.
Bennett watched 2 Will Levis videos,
back
and now
to
he's fired off.
Back to where?
So
back to where?
Where are you back to,
Man,
Bennett?
y'all would just wait for this Callahan offense. I'm just telling you.
Callahan offense.
Everyone's sleeping. Everyone's sleeping.
You didn't want to pay.
Y'all
Bennett,
are sleeping.
I'm looking at 2 men right here.
Third in the division?
No, bro. We could win that division.
Come on.
Who's going to win it?
Come on.
Who's going to win
The
it?
Texans are better, the Jaguars are better, and the Colts are better.
Bennett.
No, they are. The Colts.
Bennett?
No.
Bennett?
Anthony Richardson can't throw the football.
Oh, that's a problem.
He can't throw the football.
If true.
The Cincinnati Bengals, dude, they had the joint practices all week, and all that came out of it was those dudes were taunting him, saying, is this dude ever going to throw? All he does is run.
Well, I'm looking at 2 men right now. I see one man whose team paid their receiver.
That's right.
And I see another man whose team gave away their receiver.
True.
I mean, I can't defend that.
The Titans stink.
Hey, we did pay Tony Pollard, though.
And
he only led us right down the field.
The only team that's playing in a worse stadium than the Liberty Bowl this year.
We're getting a new one, dude.
I'm aware. So
are we. Oh, yeah. What makes you happiest in sports? Cowboys, Cardinals, or Grizzlies? Or Blues?
Grizzlies for sure.
Grizzlies for sure.
Yeah, I would say no. Now,
Yeah.
the Cowboys is like a passion thing. Like the Grizzlies like truly affects my life.
sure, yeah.
I completely agree with that.
The Cowboys,
Yep.
it affects my life in terms of like my mood and my bank account. But it doesn't like affect my life. You know, if the Grizzlies do well, our show will do amazing in the fall and winter.
That's right.
When something like last season, it affects things. It just does,
does.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, the better they are, the more it's going to draw people just by function of where we do the show. And so it has a profound effect on, you know, and then obviously 41 nights a year, and more, hopefully, with the, you know, when you count in with the playoffs, you know, I'm down at that arena. And so I'm around those people, and there's no question there's an energy that goes along with the 2 seasons prior to last season that is just radically different, and there's no way it can affect you, right? I mean, they won, God, what'd they win? It was less than 10 home games last year.
Yeah.
It was less than 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Better on the road. Yeah.
Okay, the year before they had the best home record in the NBA, I think, or 2 years prior.
That's right.
It was like 36-5 or some crap. So, I mean, 36 out of 41 nights. I walk out of that arena, and then you wake up the next morning like, that was awesome. And when you do that 30 times, 30-plus times last year, where you walk out and you're like, nah, I got to drive home in between the friggin' Fast and the Furious on 240. Like, everything sucks, right? They always say winning cures everything. But when they're winning, everything's great. And when they're losing, everything sucks. And so that one, obviously. The Cardinals, I don't even care right now. I mean, like, if they make it, they make it. I like it during the playoffs, but obviously I don't have a beat on baseball in the same way. Cowboys obviously is, you know, that's a family thing, and we plan our weekends around that and going to watch it with my dad, so that's always going to be special. So I would say the Cowboys probably second, and then Cardinals, and then way down the line, I want the Blues to win for my father. I don't keep up.
Yeah, like the Grizzlies thing has to be all of our answers because like we are financially tied to this, and like we are going to, we could do a show any day of the year, regardless of the circumstances, and there's going to be a baseline of people there. But the truth is, when things are going better for the Grizzlies, things go better for us. And I'm a good example of this. I will listen to SNY podcast, daily podcast about the Mets when they're good, when they're in a playoff race.
Right.
But like when they, like last year when they're just terrible.
You're not listening.
No, I mean, I like those guys, but I don't need to just hear them talk about, a team 23 games under 500. I do something else.
That's true of every fan.
Right.
And I would also say, and this is probably most important, because I always say that, you know, no matter where you are, no matter where you live or what kind of job you have or whatever the case may be, wherever you are, it's always about people. And in the end, you know, the same way I was like legitimately upset when Florida State lost because of Preston Brady, who I know, who I did the NIL deal with here when he was at the University of Memphis, and Norvell, who I know. And I like those guys. I want them to be happy. I want them to win. And when they don't, it bothers me. The Grizzlies, I know everybody.
Right.
It's involved in this. So it's like a personal, like I know these people. I know these players.
Right.
I know their parents. I know the organization. I know the front office. I know the coaching staff. Like, I know all these people. I don't know anybody on the Cowboys.
Right.
They're just my favorite team. I don't know them.
I go way back with Jerry Jones.
Yeah, right.
person.
But I mean, I don't know, and I don't know anybody on any other team. So, I mean, a lot of times what you'll find is like especially during the college football season, you know, I didn't grow up in a college football market. I'll always root for Memphis, but in terms of like, and Ryan, who I like a great deal, and I know Hannigan, and I know some of the other guys on the team, but generally, like the coaches in college football that I've met or became close with over the years, like I just root for them and wherever they are now.
Right.
So if they bounce around, then I bounce around with my fandom, right?
Right.
Same way that
Like I always
you
wanted
probably do with college basketball.
Yeah, I
right?
wanted Justin Fuente to do well at Virginia Tech. I
Yeah.
want Mike to do well at Florida State. Like, yeah, I root for those guys. Like, even when Tommy West would go off and be the defensive coordinator somewhere, I'd be like, I hope that works out. I don't.
If you know people, it's different.
In college, I covered Rip Shearer, and he wasn't popular, but he was always kind to me.
Yeah.
You know, he treated me like a real person when I was, you know, a 21-year-old
Right.
Whatever. I like Tommy West a lot. I was around him a lot. I liked him a lot.
Everybody did.
I didn't really know Larry Porter.
Right.
I met him a few times. I didn't really have a read on that, but I like Justin. I like Mike. All those guys, and wherever their careers take them. It is true. Once you get to know somebody and like them, you do root for them.
Sure.
Like if you're a decent person, at least.
Yeah, and so, I mean, I think that's the case here, right? It's like you know these people, and you're going to see their kids, you're going to see their families, you're going to see their...
Right.
I mean, they're right. They're the same 41 games.
Right. Like Dave Yeager. Like I like Dave. I wanted to see Dave do well. So sure. You mentioned Ryan Silverfield. I thought last year winning that bowl game was just you couldn't overstate it.
No.
It gave them a win over a Big 12 school. It gave them a win over a team they weren't supposed to beat. It sort of validated that this was really one of the top 40 football teams in America, and now they are projected by some to be in the college football playoff. Do you sense a buzz any different heading into this thing than other years recently?
Oh, I think that yes, in terms of people and the expectation and knowing that there's a 12-team playoff, so for the first time in a long time, there's actually a realistic possibility that could happen. You've just got to be the best of the non-power fives, and you look at the landscape in the non-power fives, and that's not out of the question. So in that case, yes. On the other side, they've torn down the stadium. There's friggin' rubble out there.
I can't wait to go.
It's going to be a weird experience.
And the other thing is, and I love Ryan. I love that program. That home schedule is an abomination.
Right.
It
like
is.
Truly
It really is.
An abomination.
Yeah.
Like they are going to have to reignite the Norvell. We just beat the piss out of you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can't be playing these 30-10 games even. You know what I mean? Like you're going to have to put up points and you're going to have to, ball on people, or else you're not going to get people to come out.
There's just not one opponent anybody wants to see in that conference.
Nobody. And there's also no opposing crowd.
Right.
Like, so there's you got a double whammy here. This is a miscarriage of justice that you have this bad of a schedule, honestly. And I know that it is a function of the conference, but even the non-conference games are crap.
Right.
You're playing Florida State on the road.
Right.
Like, there's not one that you could circle and be like, ooh, because even the three best conference opponents, you're playing them on the road this year.
You used to be able to at least get Ole Miss to come in here.
It's just brutal. It's brutal. There's no rivalries.
It's going to have to be like when...
You get to kill people.
Like when Cal was in Conference USA, the diminished version, and they could still mostly fill this building up for UAB, UTEP. And his messaging was always, come watch us beat somebody by 25. That's what this has to be for
That's what
football.
it has to be. They're going to have to maul people. They're going to have to be fun to watch. And they're also, honestly, like we were saying at the beginning, winning cures everything. If you're undefeated, people will go. I was there last year, really the turning point in the season, and they blew the lead, was I had the entire family out at the Tulane game. Mm-hmm. And then that one fell short. But, I mean, people were into it then. Like, they were like, my kids had a blast at that. It was super fun. And so that was a little farther into the season, but they were on a roll, and it was like, oh my God, if they could beat Tulane, then this could really be something different. And then of course they didn't, and things started to taper after that until, as you mentioned, the bowl game. But if you're 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, look, that Florida State thing is their chance. If they were to go and beat Florida State,
start 3-0.
Now it doesn't matter what your damn schedule is.
Start 3-0, and then you get a number beside your name, and then you just got it. And then just keep beating bad teams, and you stay ranked all year long. You stay in the projections all year long.
You can let Game Day build their set on top of the rubble.
That'd be sick.
Right?
Right.
I mean, it is asinine. I'm not going to stop on that.
The timing.
How they did that 2 weeks before the season is
bizarre.
crazy. Have you been?
I have not seen it with my own eyes.
It's crazy. Half the stadium's
just gone.
Like, if you're standing at that sports and event center, me and William went to our boys from Sneak Fest. They had their huge expo out there. And we went over to Sneak Fest. I walked out of that sports and event center, and I was like, what the hell? How, bro?
Right. It's going to look
Why
weird.
did you not do this in February? Maybe if there can't be a good enough reason for me.
Well, I think they didn't get the money freed up till a little later.
There's not good enough reason for
I'm
it.
sure if they could have waited until after the season to have it ready by a certain time, I'm sure they would have done that. I'm certain they had to. I'm certain they.
Oh, well, you're certain that the city that
no.
we're not getting the NCAA tournament because they forgot to send in the voucher. Shut up. Let's place it. You expect them to run anything.
In fairness, it is possible. They just have no idea what they're doing.
Everybody's got to do anything that's been done great in this town. Has generally been done by somebody outside.
It's got to be done by somebody we see.
Michael Heisley comes in and says, "Get away from my building.
Right.
I'm doing it."
Right.
That's the way this works. You know what I mean?
It's possible they just didn't know what they were doing.
You know, Tom Lee Park, right? Some company comes in and says, "Hey, everybody just get out of the way. If we let you deal it, you got your one crane and your one bulldozer." And
well, we're probably going to have to experience something like that with this building at some point, right?
They're going to take care of it themselves. They'll be in charge of it. Are you talking about FedEx Forum?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They'll be in charge of that, trust me.
Just they're not going to let the city just show up.
Absolutely not.
Start just tearing stuff down.
No. Can you imagine? Like the whole foyer of FedEx Forum is just rubble. People got to walk around it to get
Imagine you're like a Troy fan, and you're like, let's just go watch Troy in Memphis this weekend. You show up, and you're like, what is going on? You've already heard everything you hear about Memphis, all the negative stuff, and then you're like, it really is a war zone.
I know.
It really does look like a war zone.
Crazy.
That's those jokes are coming. Those jokes are coming.
Just win, baby.
Just win, baby.
Then the rubble becomes a joke.
Just win.
Otherwise, it's like a signal of what was it foretold what was to come.
If this thing, lose to North Alabama, we'll throw you in the rubble.
Blow the whole thing up.
Get the wrecking ball back out in the third quarter. What a mess. It'll be fun, though. It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. All right. Get over to your big studio.
Yeah, I will.
I'll see you later. That's Chris Vernon, host of The Chris Vernon Show. He'll be in studio at noon on Grind City Media. We come back. Memphis Sports Hall of Fame class is going to be announced. Hey, I bet you're going to be in it someday, Vernon. I bet you.
I hope so. Oh, that black boy.
I bet Vernon can get in the Memphis Sports Hall of Fame someday.
Could, yeah.
I think. Hey, we got a class.
I'm ready to hear it.
We got fellow Grind City Media employees on. If Vernon ever does make it, he won't be the first.
Okay.
He won't be the first. We got fellow Grind City Media employees inducted into the Hall of Fame. We got former Grizzlies going into the Hall of Fame. I'll give you the list next. Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South.
The fans are ready for a healthy team. The team is ready to be healthy and rebrand themselves going into this year.
And I think this year is the Remind Me Tour. This team needs to come out and remind people who they are.
Say that again.
It's the Remind Me Tour. Hashtag Remind Me.
Yeah, you just started something. Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Looking at the college football playoff and the odds to make the college football playoff, this is the top 13 teams. 7 of these 13 are out of the SEC.
I think that first year in the SEC is going to be different. Like I do. I just think it's going to be different.
The Odds Couple with Rob Fisher, Lang Whitaker, John Roser, and CJ Hurt live on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
I saw the Drew Hill story. Y'all rode together in the car, and you put the seat back.
Yeah, I put the seat all the way back, and his knees were still crunched up. And he was like, "Nah, bro, I drive a Kia."
A Kia?
What?
He's 7'4", yo.
Yeah, I don't know how he does.
He got the seats removed.
Somehow.
The Chris Vernon Show, live weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Looking for a full-court dining experience? Dribble over to Southland Casino Hotel, your ultimate gaming oasis in West Memphis. As a proud sponsor of the Memphis Grizzlies, we're inviting you to savor the flavors at our 8 incredible dining venues. Ignite Steakhouse is where culinary excellence gets grilled. Indulge in charcoal-grilled steaks and farm-to-table favorites, perfectly paired with wine or handcrafted cocktails. Enjoy an all-access buffet experience at the kitchens, or revel in comfort food and Southern classics at the Fry House. house. If casual is more your thing, sample the innovative fare at Seasons Cafe, while Chairman's Bar and Charred Oak Bourbon Bar serve up cocktails and live concerts every week. For those on the go, The Grind is your one-stop coffee shop with gourmet brews and grab-and-go goodies. And of course, we can't forget the Sports Bar and Grill, where you can catch all the Grizzlies action with the best pub fare in town. At Southland Casino Hotel, we've got the perfect dining experience for you, so come on down and ignite your taste buds today.
Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Maxwell in concert. The Serenade Tour. October 16th at FedEx Forum. Maxwell. With special guest Jasmine Sullivan. And October London. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. You don't miss Maxwell Live.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. That's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays and the evenings and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
The Memphis Sports Hall of Fame class of 2024 has been announced.
All right.
Do you want the highlights?
Let's hear it.
Can I interest you in a Zach Randolph, a Zebo?
Of course. Wait, this is Zebo. Okay. I get you can't induct everybody at once. You got to have.
You got to pay. You
got to pace yourself.
You got to pace yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you induct everybody at once, then you ain't got nobody else to induct.
Right.
All right.
Got it.
You don't have any complaints, do you?
No, I love it.
Zach Randolph. Can I interest you in an Andre Turner?
Are you serious? The Little General's not in either. My God.
The Little General's in now.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we did pace ourselves. Okay, I respect how they did this.
We've been pacing ourselves a little bit. But no quibble with Andre Turner being in a Memphis Sports Hall of Fame.
No, Memphis legend.
A Memphis legend, the Little General.
Yep.
The late NFL Hall of Famer Reggie White.
Okay, I like it.
He's a showboat.
He was a showboat. And a Packer, right?
And a Vol.
Yep.
Yeah. Jarvis Greer.
That's goated. I love that.
Jarvis Greer should...
Well deserved.
He is the Memphis Sports Hall of Fame as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
A real icon.
No question.
A legend.
No doubt about it. And my coworker.
Mm-hmm. And maybe the most likable man in Memphis media history. In Memphis sports media history, who's more likable than Jarvis Greer? Be honest. Have you ever met anybody who doesn't just light up at the thought or sight of Jarvis Greer?
You know what? Because the thing is with Jarvo is from getting to work with him now for a little while and just see him off camera. Like, he is the exact same dude. Like that,
the best.
How he acts on air, like that great personality, that's how he is in real life. That's really Jarvo.
Best.
Yes.
He's the best.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever met anybody who doesn't love him.
He's a great dude.
Like, Vernon's great, but not everybody loves Vernon. You know that.
No, he can be mean sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he was mean to me walking out the studio.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Jarvo ain't like that.
And I know not everybody loves me.
Right.
I mean, I can feel that.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? I think everybody loves Jarvis.
I think they do.
Good for Jarvis
I think
Greer.
they do. That's awesome. Who else we got? Is that it?
We got a racquetballer named Andy Roberts.
Okay, that's probably from the racket club days, right?
Sure.
Right?
I mean, he was a United States Racquetball Association Hall of Famer. This is a racquetball goat.
Great honor.
It's a racquetball goat.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry you didn't play basketball or something, Bennett. I'm sorry.
No.
It's a goat of his sport.
Of course.
It's a goat of his sport.
I'm not saying
Andy
anything
Roberts.
negative.
You're not being disrespectful to Andy Roberts, are you?
No. I used to frequent the racket club.
Melrose legend, Bobby Bingo Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Former Memphis women's basketball star Regina Street.
Okay.
Former prep basketball coach Robert Newman.
Okay.
and longtime ECS football coach Jim Hines. I remember Jim Hines.
Okay, Jim.
Yeah.
That's an awesome class. I like it.
It is. The ceremony is going to be October 16th at the Convention Center. You can get a ticket for $75, or you can reserve a table of 10 for $750. Bennett, you think you ever make it to the Memphis Sports Hall of Fame?
Probably not.
I think you could.
I highly doubt it.
I mean, I think you could.
Okay.
I mean, we got to get that. We got to get that record up a little bit.
Yeah.
In GP's carryout.
Yeah.
We got to get that record up a little bit, but
I'm just not really sure what my claim to fame would be. In the what would they say?
They would say that
like when the speech is happening. What would they say? Would you give the speech?
Yes, of course.
That'd be kind.
I would introduce you.
Okay.
I would say. When I moved from 92.9 to Grind City Media, I was put in a position where I could take anybody I wanted with me. And Brad Carson wouldn't come.
Stop it. Stop it.
So I turned my attention to Big Bet Bennett. I'm just kidding. You was my number one pick.
I know I was.
He was my little Caitlin Clark. Before you're like, you know what Caitlin Clark is to the Indiana Fever, the number one draft pick? That's what you were to me.
Good. Thank you, man.
And then he sat right across from me 5 days a week and incorrectly picked sporting events against the spread.
Yeah.
More often than not.
Yeah.
Did he make us money along the way? Not really.
But did we have a good time?
Did we end up talking a lot more about Marvel movies than I thought we would? Yeah. But this man, he made an impression. And he will go down in history as the best graybeard in the history of Memphis sports media.
Put that on the plaque.
And that was just off the top of my head. Give me 30 minutes to work with it. I could do a little better, I think.
Yeah.
Give me 30 minutes to get my words down, put them in a prompter.
I think that's a good start.
I think I could deliver it, right? But that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It's a good start. Maybe one day.
Maybe
I can
one
always
day.
dream.
You can always dream. I mean, if Bingo Smith got there, I don't know why you can't.
I don't think I'll ever have the accomplishments.
You ain't no Bingo Smith.
Bingo had, yeah.
You ain't no Bingo Smith.
Yeah.
Congrats to all the 2024 inductees. Among them, Grizz legend Zach Randolph.
Number 2.
Interesting story I read yesterday. Ohio State football. They're not preseason number 1 because Georgia is, but they're legitimate NFL people and college football followers. I guess I just hadn't been paying close enough attention. They're saying that Ohio State has maybe the greatest roster in terms of NFL talent in the history of the sport.
Really?
And it is a direct byproduct of watching Michigan win the national championship.
Yeah, I was going to say, because there was kind of rumblings about maybe a little unhappiness with their coach about the NIL situation at one point. I want to say that I saw that.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, yes and no. So Ohio State is one of the schools that recognize before most where this was heading and how not to shy away from it, but wrap your arms around it.
Yes.
Because this is going to be pay for play. You can keep acting like it's not, but we are now going to be very quickly in the business of buying players. All right? Buying high school recruits, buying transfers, paying people to keep them. And so it was 2 years ago where Ryan Day and at the time the athletic director at Ohio State, Gene Smith, made big headlines because they said the quiet part out loud, at least the quiet part at the time. While every other coach, or at least the majority of coaches at the time, were still talking about, we're not out there buying players and we're going to still build programs the way we've always built programs and develop. And, we don't want people who got their hands out, and they're just sort of grabbing onto the past and holding tight as they could. Ohio State said, hey, listen, this is what it is. All right. And they got famously, let's say the top 50 or 100 or somewhere in between business leaders in the Columbus area and throughout the state, and they brought them all in. And Ryan Day talked to them pretty directly and said, I'm just telling you, I know you guys are wondering.
This is what it was.
I know you guys are asking questions. I'm in the middle of it. So what do you want to know? You want to know what a quarterback costs these days? Well, that's a good one. He's going to cost you X amount of dollars. And, hey, did you like that team that we had. Remember the team we had 2 years ago? And it had 7 all Big Ten guys and X amount of NFL draft picks? Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it? Okay. That roster in today's market cost about $13 million. This is what he said 2 years ago. I need about $13 million a year to build a championship level roster. And they rallied around him, and they've been doing it. And only Kirby Smart has won more games as a college football coach since Ryan Day has been the head coach at Ohio State. But he hadn't won a national championship, and he's lost 3 straight games to Michigan. And there's like real pressure on him. Think about that. You have the second best winning percentage in the country since you've been a head coach. And there's some fans who are like, I don't know if this is the right guy.
Dude, I think, as crazy as it sounds, I think there is more pressure on them to beat Michigan than to make the college football playoff.
Well, it's going to be hard to do one without doing the other.
Of course, right. But like 4 in a row, like you could lose your job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially with
that's
this
the
team.
game.
Especially with this team, because here's the point of the story. They're not even hiding from it. Ask them. Ask Ohio State. Ask Ryan Day what he just spent on his football team. You know what he tell you? $20 million.
Jeez.
So in 2 years, it has gone from 30. He said, 2 years ago, he said, I need $13 million to build a championship team. And now he's just built a team with 20 because the boosters stepped up and said, we cannot lose to Michigan again. So let's overwhelm them and everybody else with talent. So they went out. Think about this. What do you think of as the biggest brand in college football?
I mean, Alabama.
Alabama.
Yeah,
Let's stop there.
Yeah,
That's the right
yeah.
answer. Ohio State went and bought Alabama's best player.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
Alabama's best player from last year, at least the guy some NFL people describe that way, is now playing for Ohio State. They just bought him. They went and bought this guy. They went and bought that guy. They went and bought this guy. And now they really not only have the most talented roster in the country, there are some people describing it as the best roster in college football history from an NFL talent perspective. Nobody's ever had more good players than Ohio State has right now. So the good news is you're set up to succeed. The bad news is if you don't, and succeed is really, I mean, the players are even quoted in here. They only lost 2 players early to the NFL draft. They could have lost who knows how many. They paid them to come back to school and put the NFL on for a year. And the players are even talking like, listen, I've been here 3 years and I've accomplished nothing. We've won a lot of games, but this building is filled with championship trophies and plaques, and we don't have that. We haven't won anything of substance. So now we have to do that this year. That's why I came back to school. And the players are even talking like, we have to win every game we play. Anything less than winning every game we play is a disappointment. And they have the talent to do it. Go find the column. I thought it was really good. It was on the homepage at ESPN.com yesterday. I'm sure it's on the college football page now. But if you haven't been paying attention because you're not a Big Ten fan or an Ohio State fan, just know that that's what that football team cost, $20 million. To put this in context, Memphis, remember we were, because it's awesome. I'm not trying to discount it, but like FedEx is giving $5 million a year for football, men's and women's basketball. So that's $5 million a year to spend on 3 different sports. Ohio State just spent $20 million alone on football to build this roster.
Wild.
So the gap is widening. That FedEx money is amazing, but you can see how big that divide is between the so-called haves and the so-called have-nots.
Number 3.
Wild story surfacing last night. The man accused of wounding 4 people outside of a popular Midtown hangout spot earlier this month walked free from 201 Poplar on Monday without paying bond. His name's Deton Gunn, 30 years old. He's facing 12 felony charges, 5 counts of attempted second-degree murder, 5 counts of employment of a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony, and 2 counts of vandalism of property, $1,000 to $2,500. Allegedly got into a dispute at Railgarten about a parking spot.
Parking lot, yeah.
And pulled out a shotgun and started firing on people.
That's what the report says.
And he just walks out of jail?
Dude, what are we doing? And the thing that is like so concerning about this is when I read that, I was like, I'm not shocked. Like, this is where all these stories are happening the same way, it appears. It's wild, dude. Like, attempted second-degree murder, like, that's... You're supposed to stay in jail.
Listen,
like,
Railgarten,
it's...
like this, and I want to be clear. Like, we have gun violence in the city every day, all right? It's a lot of street stuff and gang stuff.
Sure.
This ain't that. This is Railgarten.
Yep.
I take my kids to Railgarten. That's families.
Yeah.
And they're arguing over a parking lot.
And somebody pulls a gun out, because that's what people do now.
If you are the type of person who, however you get there, end up pulling a shotgun out at Railgarten, you don't need to be on the streets.
No. I just, it doesn't make any sense why this keeps happening with these guys getting out of jail.
Let me show you how an argument about a parking spot should go. I'm trying to pull in here and you pull in there first. You see I was waiting on it, and then you snuck in there and like stole the parking lot from me. You know what I do? Probably nothing.
Right.
I probably don't even say a word to you because I assume you might have a shotgun. But to the extent I might say something, I'd be like, yo, man, you saw me waiting on that parking lot. What are you doing? And then you might say, oh, I just wanted to park. And then I might say, okay, that was kind of a dick move, and then we're done with it.
Yeah.
Nobody should be pulling out shotguns over a parking space. I would argue over anything, but especially not parking spaces at Railgarten. If we're now doing shootouts in the parking lot at Railgarten, we'll do them anywhere. All right?
Yep.
And I guess there's no good way to prevent that from happening, right? We are a crime-filled city. I guess if there was a simple way for us to get people to stop shooting at each other, we'd have done that by now. All right? So we can't do nothing about that. I don't guess. But you know what we can do? Not let people who do things like this, allegedly, walk right back out onto the streets.
And not even have to post a bond.
I mean, it wasn't even like $500 or $5 or 5 cents.
Nothing.
Steve Mulroy did release a statement last night.
Okay.
He said, we argued for a bond of $500,000. We believe the suspect should still be in jail considering one of the victims was shot in the back. We're confident justice will prevail and the defendant will be held accountable. I mean this sincerely. Somebody has to make this decision somewhere.
Yes, somebody has to answer for
this.
Put
a name on that. Put a face on that. Put them in your A block of your news segment today at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Put a camera in their face. Show up at their house.
Yeah, why?
Knock on their door. Put a camera in their face and ask them, how do they sign off on this?
Yep.
This guy shot somebody in the back over a parking spot. Who would argue he should be walking the street without posting anything?
No.
I would argue he shouldn't be walking the streets anyway. I would argue if you shoot somebody in the back at Railgarten, stay in jail. No bond. All right?
Yeah.
I don't need you out on the streets if you're going to shoot people over a parking spot. All right? But to walk out over nothing? Nothing. That's insane.
It's insane.
I don't care how you vote in elections. I don't care how you feel about abortion. I don't care how you feel about the southern border. We should all be able to agree that's insane.
Yes.
Shoot somebody in the back at Railgarten, and then you just walk out of 201 Poplar without posting any money. Insane.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's responsible for this, or multiple somebodies are responsible for this. Put their names on it. Put their faces on it. Make them go interview the person who got shot in the back, and then take that footage to the person who signed off on this to let this person out of jail for nothing, and make them answer for it. How do you justify that? What if it had been your husband or wife or son or daughter or brother or sister who got shot in the back at Railgarten? You know what you go to Railgarten to do? Eat food and like sit outside and maybe play cornhole and listen to music. You ain't supposed to get shot in the back in the parking lot. Again, we can't stop gun violence in this country because we have politicians who don't want to stop gun violence in this, or at least they don't do anything to even try. But we should be able to, when we catch people who do this kind of stuff, we keep them caught.
Mm-hmm.
You don't let them out on a random Monday. Like, really depressing.
It really is.
And somebody
it's
should
just
pay
so
somebody should have to answer for this.
Yeah,
somebody should be
man.
shamed for this. If you think this is a sensible thing to do, then explain it to me. And I guarantee you, you can't. You can't. You will never be able to convince me letting somebody who fired a bullet into the back of another person at Railgarten should be walking the streets again so quickly and without posting anything. That's insane.
I'm with you.
Nobody could logically or sensibly defend it. So why is it happening? Shame these people. Whoever they are, shame them. Put them on the lead of your newscast tonight and keep them there until they explain their decisions and then stop making them.
Number 4.
On a brighter note, Travis and Jason Kelce got $100 million for their podcast.
Oh, good for them. I saw the new Monday Night Football promo because Kelce's on it.
Yes.
Jason Kelce's on it. I guess it's him, SVP, and Marcus Spears, maybe?
Yeah, it could be.
It's a different crew. Yeah.
Sure, maybe. Yeah.
Anyways.
That's how RG3 got RIP'd.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they fired him. Damn.
Jason Kelce came in and took that job. So, good for them. What a wild deal these brothers do. So these are just great football playing brothers at one point. That's really all they are, you know. Travis a little more famous than Jason because he did the SNL thing, but they're just great football playing brothers. And then they start a podcast and it's doing okay. You know, it's a fine podcast. Like it's doing fine. And then one of them says, man, I'd like to meet Taylor Swift. And then he meets Taylor Swift. And then he starts hugging Taylor Swift. And now they're two of the biggest celebrities in the world. And now they're getting $100 million from Wondery for a podcast. 3-year deal. A little more than $100 million.
That's wild, dude.
Alex Cooper just sold her Call Her Daddy podcast for $125 million.
She's going to Sirius.
Sirius XM.
Okay.
$125 million.
Look at Sirius. Just.
I feel like we should have started a $125 million podcast.
I know. What the hell,
Why
dude?
didn't we do that?
I know.
Why didn't we?
I don't know.
Why do you think we didn't start a $125 million podcast?
I really don't know.
I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm happy.
No, I'm happy too. But
I'm
it's
happy,
just like,
and I'm blessed.
I'm
too blessed to be stressed.
There's a certain point when you got to put a number on it, and I feel like we should have just maybe thrown that out there.
It didn't even occur to me.
that you could just say.
You could just say, "Give me $125 million."
Yeah.
I didn't even think like that.
Right.
I didn't think this through. I didn't think this through. I'm happy.
I'm of course happy too.
I feel like
$125 million.
I feel properly compensated.
Of course.
And I feel appreciated.
Of course.
I'm too blessed to be stressed.
But I'm
too blessed to be stressed.
There's just a certain point when you put a number on
but
it.
But $125 million?
Yeah, dude.
God.
Yeah, that's crazy. I
should have just, you know where we messed up? We came on here trying to talk about John Morant, and we should have came on here trying to talk about Taylor Swift and sex.
Yeah.
Because Alex Cooper talks about sex.
Does she still talk about sex?
Yes.
Really?
Sure.
I mean, they had her on the Olympics. I thought that it had toned down a little bit.
She still talks about doing it.
You know what's crazy is that podcast, like where it started.
Like,
it's
crazy.
I know they're not doing that. I know she's not doing that kind of content.
Now I believe it is more.
Yeah.
I don't pretend to.
Right.
I don't know what Alex Cooper's doing.
Yeah,
right?
I got you.
But my suspicion is that it is more of it's gone from her and her similarly hot friend talking about sex to her interviewing famous women about sex. So rather than talking with her buddy, I think it was Sophia.
Man.
Now she talks to Miley Cyrus and Hailey Bieber. And
she fumbled the bag.
Whew.
Big time.
Big time, buddy.
Yeah. That's rough.
I mean, do you realize those women were making like $60,000 a year a few years ago?
And like they had the ugly divorce and
I know, but like they signed them to nothing contracts.
Right.
I knew a girl, a woman I work with in New York lived like in the building next to them. And she was like, they portray themselves as like they're just like flying around New York City, like Sex and the City type thing. They're poor. She was like, they live in a crap building in a little crap apartment. They were making nothing. They got real famous, but they signed nothing contracts. And then as I understand it, Dave Portnoy like came back and gave them some real money to make them like, all right, this is crazy. You got one of the most popular podcasts in the world, and you're making nothing, relatively speaking. And then he gave them a bigger contract, and then they started getting a little squirrely.
Yep.
And they were going to try to get out of a contract, and then they started. Neither one of them thought they were getting what they deserved, and they both thought they were. And Alex Cooper apparently was the one who just said, "All right, Portnoy, I'll do the deal." And Portnoy was like, okay, well, then she's out. And that other girl got cut out of it. And Alex Cooper blew up into this.
Man, crazy.
She got like $100 million just to do the Spotify or whatever it was doing first. And now this is another 125.
Yeah.
She's made hundreds of millions of dollars. And she was making like 60 grand a few years ago. We should have talked more about sex.
I know. One thing that I do have an issue with this new podcast, or not new, but this podcast in general, is why don't you just call it Kelce Bros? The Kelce Bros.
What is it called?
The New Heights?
New Heights.
It's called, New Heights? Yeah. I just called it the Kelce Brothers.
Well, Bennett, I think they're doing okay. I don't think they need...
I know. I'm just saying.
I don't think they need advice from you.
Okay, I understand.
I don't think they need a name change from you. The whole New Heights thing...
Did you know the name of the pod? No.
Yes.
No, you didn't. Yeah,
yes.
I just had to tell you.
Yeah, because I forgot, but I didn't know.
Okay, but I'm just saying...
Because that's where they're from, New Heights, Ohio, something like that. Isn't that right?
Yeah, because they played at Cincinnati.
Yeah, what is New Heights?
Oh, yeah, Cleveland Heights. Okay, thanks, Kyra.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, Benny. Don't question my knowledge of the Kelce podcast.
I'd call it the Kelce Brothers podcast.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Well, why don't you start your own podcast and call it the Kelce Brothers podcast, and maybe you can get some subscriptions just off of that.
That's the thing.
People get confused, right?
That's actually not the worst idea.
It's not even.
That's not a bad. In fact, someone should do that.
Yes.
Like if someone was just like, man, I need to get like a couple thousand subscribers like today.
Okay, we're going to combine Call Her Daddy and the New Heights podcast to create a new podcast, and this is what we're going to call it. The Kelce Brothers Discuss Sex.
Yeah.
How good would that be?
You'd get clicks.
If you have Travis and Jason Kelce just tell them sex stories every day.
Yeah, you'd get downloads for sure.
You get downloads for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe we should talk about sex more, me and you.
Okay, I'm in.
Except I don't think anybody wants to.
Nobody wants to hear me talk about sex, buddy.
I think there's a time for it, but I think once you get to a certain age.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to hear somebody my age talking about sex, I don't think.
No.
I don't think anybody needs to hear that.
That's unfortunate. But
it is unfortunate. I missed my window.
Yeah.
I missed my window.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. Congratulations to everybody who's making $100 million doing a podcast. I'm happy for all of them.
Number 5.
Rest in peace, Sid Vicious.
Yeah, man, this was sad.
It was sad. Rest in peace, Sid Vicious, the West Memphis legend.
Yes.
Sid Eudy was his birth certificate name, but of course he wrestled mostly as Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid.
He scared me when I was a kid.
You don't even know.
He was one of those wrestlers that scared me when I was a kid.
You don't even know.
Yeah.
Because he had the intense eyes. He's huge.
Oh, yeah.
Intense eyes. 6-time world champion. He main evented
WrestleMania 8.
WrestleMania.
Versus Hogan, yeah.
Big deal.
Yep.
63 years old, cancer.
That sucks.
I saw, because a lot of people were posting on Facebook about it, and he still lived right across the river, I gather. And somebody had posted just a picture that they had taken with him a few weeks ago. They worked at a veterinarian, and he brought his pets there. And so they just knew him as Sid. But obviously knew his background and his career.
So he was still living in West Memphis.
Yeah,
or somewhere around there. Yeah.
Anyway, he was skinnier than you would remember. You know, he looked like a 63-year-old. He did not quite look like, you could still see Psycho Sid in there, but he was not as big and intimidating as he once was. So I don't remember the specifics, but again, he was one of the biggest wrestlers in the world for a while. I don't remember the specifics, but look at that. They honored him last night on Raw. I don't know if you saw that. They honored him, had a little, tribute to his life. That was fun to watch. I don't remember the specifics, but after my parents divorced, my dad moved into an apartment complex. And eventually, I lived there as well. And there was somebody that lived in the building. This is the part I can't remember exactly. But it was just one of those things you always heard. Like, so-and-so is Sid Vicious's cousin or Sid Vicious's brother or maybe Sid Vicious's girlfriend. Like, hey, the woman who lives in that one is Sid Vicious's something. Just somebody in the building knew Sid Vicious.
Yep.
That's all we. And it was like one of those things you always heard. Or like everybody, it'd be like you'd be in the apartment complex and somebody'd always want to bring it up. Like, well, somebody's something with Sid Vicious lives in that one. And I'm like, yeah, I live in that one too. It was always like something everybody knew. But nobody ever really, nothing. So I guess I'd said something about it, and people knew I was a wrestling fan. And what? Long story not so long. I'm sitting at home one day.
Mm-hmm.
Go answer the door. Sid Vicious.
Get out of here.
Somebody told me Little Gary, because I went by Little Gary. My dad was Big Gary. Somebody told me Little Gary was looking for me. Sid Vicious, standing in my doorway.
That's pretty cool.
And then he was like, my name's Sid.
That's pretty cool.
Nice guy. Took pictures, the whole deal.
You know what's it's interesting that you tell that, because like what I've seen the most is, because obviously there's so many people around here that have met him and interacted with him, and all the stories have been good.
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen one person be like, oh yeah, but he was kind of a jerk. No, it seems like they're...
And you will hear that about other people, wrestlers, like whatever.
Which is kind of cool, because his whole persona was a jerk.
Yes.
Yeah.
They made that point on the broadcast last night. Like his persona was, look at him, you know? But in real life, he didn't carry himself that way at all.
Yeah. There was I was going back and watching old clips of him because he was in Memphis wrestling before he made it like really big and was in WWE and whatnot. And he played Lord Humongous, which was a
right.
It's the character from Mad Max: The Road Warrior, which is one of my favorite movies. He's got the hockey mask and he's coming out like Lawler's there. You can find the clip on YouTube.
No, yeah,
it's
I
pretty
believe
cool.
he played. He debuted as Lord Humongous.
Yes,
he was Lord Humongous before he was Sid Vicious or Psycho Sid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
Anyway, I know like there's a lot of people here who consider him a friend and loved one, and to us he was just Sid Vicious.
Yep.
A wrestler, but to a lot of folks, he was just Sid from down the street. So one of our true,
local wrestling guys,
local guys who made it big.
Yeah,
I mean, he made it to the tip top of the sport. 6-time world champion.
Yeah, man.
Main evented WrestleMania. Like not everybody retires
Long
having done that.
career too.
Long career.
Yep.
So sad. I can't even tell you the last time I even thought about Sid Vicious. But when it popped up yesterday, 63.
Yeah, man, that's too early.
A lot of that in wrestling.
I think that's too early. Yeah.
There's a lot of that in wrestling.
Yeah, for sure.
People die young.
Yep.
Would that prevent you from...
I mean, he died of cancer, but...
Yeah, I'm not speculating. I'm not connecting any dots.
No.
I'm merely saying a lot of wrestlers die young. For whatever reason.
Yeah.
Just a lot of wrestlers die younger than you should.
I would think the biggest thing is just the toll that whole life probably takes on your body. I'm not even saying like drugs or anything. I'm just saying like the traveling, the actual events, like wrestling.
The lifestyle gets hard.
Yeah, dude. I mean, your body is going through it.
Well, there were times, and I've never been a part of this. I don't know, but you hear the stories, and there were times like I can remember in the times where I was an adult, but I wasn't watching wrestling. Like I probably took 20 years off of wrestling before I started watching it with my kids. And you would hear like, WWE is at the Pyramid tonight. And it was just sort of understood. If you went to the Marriott down there, to the lobby bar, they'd all be there. Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, they'd just all be running the bar all night long. And so my understanding of it, if you really fell into that lifestyle, it's a lot of on the road, a lot of drinking, a lot of late nights, and then you combine the physical aspect. It can take a toll on you. It's not an easy way to live, or at least for some, it hasn't been an easy way to live. And again, you don't hear many wrestling legend so and so died at the age of 92 of natural causes. Usually, it's something earlier than that.
Yep, that's true.
Would that prevent you from entering a profession if somebody said, hey, you could be a wrestling star, but
no,
most wrestling stars don't live long?
No.
You'd say, make me a wrestling star.
Hell yeah.
I think I would want to be a wrestling star.
Dude.
And I would convince myself I'll be the exception to the rule.
Or just, I mean, I might sacrifice years off my life to be able to live like that.
Okay, You ready? You can live as wild a life as you want to live. You will be a WWE world champion. You will be on television once a week.
Yep.
You'll be a big star for 20 years. From the age of 25 to 45, you'll be one of the biggest wrestling stars in the world. Living whatever lifestyle you want to live. but you're dead at 55.
Ooh, 55.
You taking it?
I might take it. I might take it. I might take it.
It's interesting, you know? I mean, you get to be one of the biggest stars in the world for 20 solid years.
Right.
You got all the money you want, all the fame you want, and whatever else you want with that. You want a wife and kids? Do that. You want Instagram models? Do that. You want to be clean and sober? Do that. You want to get an 8-ball every night? Do that. You're going to live till you're 55, but you ain't living to 56. You taking it?
Make for a hell of an episode of Dark Side of the Ring, buddy. I might take it.
I might take it too.
Yeah.
You know? I figure I'm going to be bored by the time I'm 56 anyway.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Figure I ain't got nothing else to do by then anyway.
I might take it.
I might take it, Bennett. Rest in peace to Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid.
Yep.
Be back with GP's Carryout.
I actually saw these on TikTok before you guys even sent them to me. This is an interesting concept. They're socks that are anti-creasing.
The socks look really comfy.
They do.
But the anti-creasing thing, like, look, why are we still doing this?
So the kids now that are on the ice, if you see them walking, they walk like
My mom's a gym teacher, and she says like kids will like.
I think that's always
Who
what they're doing.
cares? The Sneak Fest Show live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
In Bo we trust. Bo is the future. I just want to go back to August 19th when I've made it perfectly clear. When I make the fantasy football championship and the Broncos make the playoffs because of the success of Bo Nix. The bar is low. Give me Bo. That's a good one. The bar is low. Give me Bo.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
GG gonna be just fine, bro. Like he probably like Josh probably number one, and he's probably number two most talented teammates I've ever had.
Just raw talent.
Like, bro, like
just go to the gym, hoop type talent.
Like you walk in the gym and he might be doing a workout, and you gonna look over and be like, damn.
The Chris Vernon Show live weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. The commercial breaks are always the best time to catch up on text, catch up on the chat.
I saw that too.
So a couple interesting things. One, our buddy Luke, who works here, handles a lot of the social media, texted us while we were talking about the shooting at Railgarten, says he was there that night, he saw it.
That's insane.
I tried to bring him in studio to tell us what happened. We couldn't find him out there. He's just bouncing around, probably posting stuff.
That's probably true. Yeah.
And then my buddy Randall puts in the chat, Sid Vicious did have a reputation as the nicest guy in the world.
Yep.
Except for the time when he stabbed Arn Anderson.
Yeah,
I was reading about that. I stumbled into this last night. I started reading about it.
Arn Anderson was a difficult personality, man.
So they apparently were at like a hotel bar, exactly like what I was describing.
Yep.
At the hotel bar, doing whatever they're doing. And it gets into an argument and it escalates, but then it separates. Fast forward, Sid Vicious goes to Arn Anderson's hotel room and attacks him and stabbed him with scissors, maybe? Like there was like real injuries involved. The cops were called. I think they were in Europe, and so neither man would press charges against the other. And the European authorities were like, just go home. Just get out of here. We don't even want to deal with it. You dumb Americans, get back to America and stab each other. But it ended up costing him, I think he got fired from WCW because of it or something.
I could see it.
Yeah.
Man, I remember that another crazy
He
one.
never pulled scissors on me. I want that to be clear.
Dude, I will never forget also, he had one of the worst injuries ever in wrestling on TV. It was him and I think Scott Steiner on WCW Nitro, and he jumps off the top rope and just snaps his leg in half. It's gross. It's one of the worst live injuries I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it was gross. I can remember. I was watching it.
I don't know why I'm getting squeamish about injuries when I watch 50 murder videos a day.
No, go pull up that YouTube video of Psycho Sid jumping off the top rope. It's rough.
How am I more comfortable watching people get shot on Twitter than I am watching somebody snap their leg?
I know.
Like, I'd rather see somebody get shot than tear an ACL almost on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
How about... Something's going
I don't
on
know
there.
about that. Yeah, that's weird. Look into that.
I need to look into that
Yeah.
for sure. I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah, look into that.
All right, let's do GP's carryout. I got to go.
Okay.
I got to go. I got things to do.
Time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
Whole bunch of stuff, but the thing that made me happiest, thing that made me smile biggest, Memphis Sports Hall of Fame class of 2024 has been announced. Grind City Media's own Jarvis Greer.
We need to get him a banner or
A
something
balloon?
up here. Yeah.
I mean, if Jessica got 70 balloons just for 1,000th episode, what do we do for Jarvis?
Yeah, we got to get some for Jarvo.
I mean, we better get 4 cakes.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to get him something.
Even ice cream cakes.
Yep. That'd be cool.
You like ice cream cake?
No.
What?
I like regular cake.
You told me this before.
Yeah,
I like ice cream
I
cake.
love cake. I don't like ice cream cake's weird.
It's awesome.
It's gross.
It's cold.
I don't like it. I like cake with ice cream, not ice cream cake.
I like my shit all together.
No, dude. Like a piece of like yellow cake with chocolate icing and a scoop of vanilla ice cream right next to it.
They just put a Baskin Robbins directly on the way home from school.
Did they?
Oh, buddy.
I mess with Baskin Robbins now.
I do too.
I mess with Baskin Robbins.
I do too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing about having kids. I was never like just the biggest ice cream guy, but man, when you have kids, you have no choice. Like, you're an ice cream guy.
You become an ice cream guy.
Yeah, that's what they want.
That's what they want. And then you can act like, well, I'm not going to have ice cream. But then you get in there and it's like,
of course I'll get a scoop of ice cream.
There's chocolate chip cookie dough right there.
Yeah.
Give me one scoop.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, here's how it happens. I'm just speaking for myself here. I go, I don't want ice cream. I'm too old to be eating ice cream. My metabolism ain't what it used to be.
Right.
I can't just be eating ice cream on a Tuesday. And then it's like, but Dad, we had a good day at school. Can we get ice cream? Sure. But I'm not going to get nothing. Then you get in there and it's like, well, man, they got mint chocolate chip. I guess I got to. You know what I got the other night? Reese's peanut butter ice cream.
Sounds pretty good.
So here's the way it happens. You go from, I don't even want this, I'm too old to be eating ice cream on a Tuesday, to then, once you decide, hey, I did 13,000 steps today. I can have this ice cream. Then it's a slippery slope because now she's like, oh, and what do you want me to put your ice cream in?
You got a cake cone.
Waffle
cone. Yeah, that's what I meant. Waffle cone.
And then it gets worse.
You get something sprinkled on top of it. Do you get a little dusting of something?
Do you want the plain waffle cone, or would you like the one dipped with sprinkles?
Dipped with sprinkles.
Well, shit, I've already ruined my day.
Yeah.
I might as well get dipped with sprinkles. So now I just added like a 1,500 calorie cone to my Reese's ice cream.
That's intense. I don't know about Reese's ice cream.
What do you not know?
I like the more.
What do you not know? I never heard somebody say something dumber than that.
I would eat it, but
It's Reese's peanut butter.
Yeah.
Ice cream.
I hear you. I like my ice cream more like, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't like the rich ice cream. I like it more like refreshing, if that makes sense.
Who do you know that doesn't like Reese's peanut butter cups?
I love Reese's peanut butter cups.
Okay, do you love ice cream?
Sure.
Then what is your...
I just don't know. The combo together doesn't sound amazing. You know what I get? We go to La Michoacana. That's our favorite ice cream
Mexican
place.
ice cream.
Brother, that is my favorite
I've been getting Mexican ice cream too.
It's so good. And they have the best strawberries and cream ice cream I've ever had in my life. That's all I get. Every time they have 5,000 flavors, and every time I go, that's the only one I get. It's so good.
Mexican ice cream spot is in Horn Lake.
Mm-hmm.
And my kid practices baseball in Horn Lake sometimes.
Yeah.
And if we choose to go home a different way, we might get Mexican ice cream.
Dude.
I love Mexican ice cream.
Good stuff.
What makes Mexican ice cream Mexican ice cream?
They're just better at it.
I
really don't know what it is. They're just better at it.
Like, are we sure we want to close this border?
Exactly.
I don't think y'all thunk this through.
No, dude. I don't know what it is.
How do they make...
Maybe it's the ingredients. I don't know.
Why is their ice cream just better?
I don't know. I can't speak to it. It's better though. It's
better.
Yeah.
It is. You go in there and it's like,
man, we got one over on Summer. That place, I forget. That's their. They opened another location in Cordova. That's a big one that a lot of people go to. But we go to the one over on Summer. Man, that place, it's always good. It's always good.
You gotta. I don't remember having these conversations when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But now you gotta have conversations with your kids.
Yeah.
You gotta say, hey, boys, you want ice cream? And they say yes. And then the next question, you got a follow-up question. Mm-hmm. Do you want ice cream or do you want Mexican ice cream? Because Mexican ice cream's another deal.
Yep.
I don't know if they're going to dip their cones and sprinkle them, but, buddy, they're going to do something.
Yeah.
How do they do it?
I don't know.
We need to look into that.
I'll figure it out. I'll do some research. Maybe I've got to do some research
You
today.
might need to do some
I might
research.
have to do some research today.
Figure out what's going on with this Mexican ice cream, because I don't get it.
I got you.
What's today's biggest game?
We're going back to the WNBA.
All right.
We only got one game on the schedule tonight. It's a light night in the league.
Okay, let's see what's going on.
We're going to do it at the College Park Center in Arlington, Texas. It's the Las Vegas Aces, your reigning champions, on the road against the Dallas Wings. Tip is at 7 o'clock. We're going to watch it on NBA TV. Las Vegas is minus 9.5. Total's 181.5.
Well, that's outrageous.
The Wings stink, Bennett.
I mean, both times they played, the Aces have blasted them. Like, what am I missing here? Give me the Aces.
You want to lay 9.5?
Yeah, dude. I don't understand what. And it's not like Dallas is playing better. Like they stink. They're not good.
Bennett?
I mean, they won their last game, but like I don't. No, dude. Give me the Aces.
You won 2 games in a row. You're now 144, 143, and 4 rather. You're 1 game above 500, negative 14.1 units. Is that good? No, it's not good. But it's better than he was 2 days ago.
Yeah, that's right. Give me the Aces.
Las Vegas minus 9.5. We're going to lay it. Let's lay it.
Yeah, let's lay it.
What are we watching on TV?
Are you watching Chimp Crazy?
What's that? Chimp Crazy?
Chimp Crazy. It's a new HBO show.
Okay.
It's on Sunday nights now. It's taking House of the Dragon spot. You know, you got to have a big Sunday night thing.
Yeah.
Chimp Crazy.
I'm unfamiliar.
2 episodes in so far. Episode 3 is next Sunday night. I think it's a 4-part documentary. It's about this woman. She lives in Festus, Missouri.
Okay.
And she was raising chimpanzees. And it's like, you know, she had a company called Chimp Party. And like, if you were having a birthday party for your little boy and you wanted a chimpanzee to come,
boy,
this woman could bring it. All right. And then this other woman ended up moving there with her and like helping take care of the chimpanzees. And long story not so long, she ends up taking the whole thing over. They're raising chimpanzees that like, if you buy a birthday card, a Hallmark card, and it's got a chimpanzee on it, you know, one of those cards, is probably one of her chimpanzees.
Gotcha.
Movies, if you watched a movie in the 90s and it had a chimpanzee in it.
Like Dunstan Checks In.
Buddy, there's a movie called Buddy, and there's a chimpanzee in that movie. That chimpanzee is named Tonka.
Gotcha.
And this chimpanzee was raised in Festus, Missouri. This other woman takes over the place. And PETA gets involved, and they're like, this woman who is taking care of all these chimpanzees has no formal training whatsoever. She's just somebody who likes chimpanzees.
Okay.
She's not somebody who knows how to take care of chimpanzees. And I don't know what you know about chimpanzees.
Not a lot.
Okay, well, here's something that might blow your mind. They're the cutest little things.
Yeah.
They're little bitty cutie monkeys.
But then they grow up.
And so you really can have real relationships with them when they're babies, when they're 1, when they're 2. People raise them like their own kids, potty train them, teach them how to use a microwave and cook their own food. All right? Around year 5, 6, 7, it's over, buddy. You can't control these animals anymore. And she realizes this, and you go from having these cute little chimpanzees that you can take care of and hold and take to birthday parties and whatever, they're uncontrollable. So you just lock them up. So suddenly she's got all these chimpanzees at a place in Missouri, and it's basically a chimpanzee jail. And PETA said, this is not okay. This is crazy. And so they took them to court, and they won. And they got to go clear out all the PETA's taking control of these chimpanzees, and they're going to put them in a more proper sanctuary. A lot of them were breeded, and then raised in not in the wild. So you can't just let them into the wild. They won't know what to do. But there is a sanctuary, and it looks like where they're supposed to be, and it's a safe place for them. Anyway, when PETA goes to get these chimpanzees, let's say there's supposed to be 13 of them. When they get there, there's only 12.
Oh.
Guess who's missing? Tonka.
The famous one.
So she says Tonka died.
Yeah, Tonka's gone.
Tonka's gone. He had a stroke. He's dead. And PETA's saying, we don't believe you. Where is Tonka? And that's where we're at.
Okay.
It's being directed by the same guy who did Tiger King.
Oh, okay.
Because he did Tiger King, which was a phenomenon.
Oh, it was so good.
These animal people, these people all fall under the same umbrella. The animal people, exotic people. They race tigers and chimpanzees and, exotic animals. They all, they talk. And so this director, he made a great documentary, but guess who didn't like it? Tiger King. He's in jail now. All right? So the animal people they're weary of this guy.
Yeah.
All right? Or leery of this guy.
Okay.
One of the two.
Okay.
I'll let you figure it out. So he has to have a proxy director. He's working in the shadows, but he's got a fake director who used to work at Ringling Brothers, but he's an animal person himself.
Yeah, okay.
So he can get in there. He knows these animal people, but he's undercover. He's not he's presenting himself as a real director, but the real director is the Tiger King guy in the shadows.
That's kind of an interesting twist.
Rotten Tomatoes is 97% approval.
Okay.
People like it.
Okay.
I'm in it.
I thought you were going to tell me that there was some kind of attack and the chimp ripped someone's face off.
Okay. Well,
we've heard of that.
Well, okay. So it sort of tails off into these other little stories trying to explain just how dangerous these chimpanzees can be.
Yep.
You think you want one, and you do, up until they're about 5, and then they'll rip your face off. And there's a chimpanzee named Travis. Google this. Google Travis the chimpanzee. Killed a woman.
Yeah.
Woman called 911. She said, 911, what's your emergency? She said, my chimpanzee is killing my friend. He's killing my friend. That's what she said. That's my impression of her.
Yikes.
Chimp Crazy. It's on HBO Sunday nights, new episodes, but you can watch it on that Max app right now, episode 1 and episode 2. Bennett, I suggest you get on it.
I'm on it.
All right.
What's the best thing we've read?
Candid Coaches series continues today. Matt Norlander handled it over at CBSSports.com. We asked more than 100 college coaches who's going to have the best first 5 years at their new school. Pat Kelce at Louisville or Mark Pope at Kentucky. In-state rivals, two proud basketball brands. Overwhelmingly, more than 60% of the coaches, 67%, said Mark Pope over Pat Kelce.
Oh, wow.
67-33. Some of them said simply because they think he's got the better job. It's in a better place right now. It's the Kentucky job as opposed to the Louisville job. Cal left Kentucky in a better spot than Kenny Payne left Louisville.
Yeah.
But then some others did just simply say, I know both these guys and I respect them both, but Mark Pope's a better coach with a better job. So I'll go with him. 67-33. Mark Pope was your winner. You can find it right now, CBSSports.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow's Wednesday. Caitlin Clark will become the all-time leader, three-pointers made in the season for WNBA rookies. That's probably happening tomorrow night.
Okay.
That's probably happening tomorrow night. We'll be one more day closer to the restart of the college football season.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm excited.
Go. I'm excited too. Mike Wallace in studio.
Yep, Mike will be here.
I can't wait. I can't wait. You know how I like Wednesdays. Not as much as Food Truck Fridays. Not as much as Moose Knuckle Mondays.
Mm-hmm. But it's right in there.
But I do enjoy Wednesdays.
I like it too.
It ranks somewhere behind that. But you know, I enjoy it. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll enjoy mine. Meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.